called the JUCO that I went to, which was in New York, and I'ma have them, you know, check you out, send them some film and everything, and see if you can go there. So I kind of was like, okay, hopefully that work out and everything, and I'll be able to still play. But I was hurt, man. Didn't know if I was, if they was gonna want me or accept me or whatever. And yeah, it was a rough time. But the year end, we on our way back home now, or everybody went home. It's the end of the year, and I remember it was a summer, high school summer league games and stuff like that. If you having tournaments or you know how the high school summer league worked. So I was going up there to see one of my old high school teams play through the summer league, and I remember this was another pivotal part in my life. I remember talking to it was at a college, and I remember talking to one of the college assistant coaches that worked there, and he asked me like, "Hey, what's up, Warren? How you doing? Everything." He like, "Where you going next year?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know. I'm trying to get into this JUCO that my prep school coach went to, but I'm really not sure yet." And he was like, "What happened?" Like, and I was like, "Man, I didn't pass my SAT. Man, my dad told me that I had the score I needed, and you know what I'm saying. And I didn't find out till it was too late that I actually didn't pass the SAT, and I couldn't take it again. So he kind of messed me up or whatever. Thinking I passed." And I remember he stopped me. He said, "That's not your dad's fault." He said, "Don't blame that on your dad." He said, "It sounds like you trying to blame it on him." And he said, "That's your fault." He said, "That's your responsibility." And when he said that, I was kind of shocked. And he was like, you supposed to be on top of that stuff and taking care of that stuff. And he kind of got on me about that whole situation. Like, don't put it on your dad because it's not your dad's fault. And I remember after that conversation ended, was thinking like, how is it not my dad's fault? Like, he the one that told me it got mailed to his house. I was trying to basically talk myself up to saying like, no, it ain't my fault. It's his fault. And like a little bit down the line, I end up going back over what he was saying in my head, and I remember saying like, even though I didn't want to hear that, it was the truth. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times as young kids, 18, 19, even still young, fresh out of high school, we feel like it's our parents' job or our guardian or whatever, to take care of that stuff and give us the right information or whatever. But in all actuality, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? If and it's not just about basketball, it's whatever you're doing in life. If you're doing something, that's on you to handle that type of stuff, or make sure that's taken care of. And I just remember going over it in my head and being like, it is my fault, because that's something that I want to do. That's something that's on me. You know what I'm saying? Whether my parents or whoever is helping me, it's on me to get to college, to continue playing and get an education and stuff like that. So going back over there, I was sometimes you got to realize that you got to take accountability for your life. You got to make sure the things is done, everything is set up in order for you to succeed, because nobody else is going to college for you. Nobody else is going to work for you. You have to do that yourself. You know what I'm saying? Whether I went to college or not, that wasn't going to be on nobody. That was going to be on me. No matter who I told the story or whatever, they was going to look at me and say, he ain't go. Or he doing whatever he doing. So it actually was on me. And I was so happy that he said that to me, because not only was he right, and even though it was something that I didn't want to hear, but I actually needed to hear, it was something those words that he said to me, I was able to use that for the rest of my life. Even now, you know, I'm still able to use that, and I'm still happy that he said those words to me. Even though it was something that I didn't want to hear, it was something that I needed to hear. And what he said to me, I still use that in my life, you know, up until now, and I'm, you know, still using it throughout my life. Because when you're trying to accomplish something, or you're trying to get something done, you can't just depend on somebody and leave it all in their hands, especially when it's for you or about you. You have to be the front runner, or, you know, you have to be in charge of taking care of that stuff. So what he said to me that day helped me throughout the rest of the process of me getting up into college. Not to harp on that too long, because I'm gonna touch back on all this stuff, but let's say about 2 or 3 weeks later, it's kind of getting towards the end of the summer, and I'm still looking for a school. And like I said, I was waiting on the JUCO in New York to, you know, contact me, and I had spoke with them, and they were saying, you know, hey, we do want you. We seen your film. We do like you, but we got a big man from overseas that we trying to get, and you know, he told me straight up. He was like, we looking for a guard, and we will take you, but if we can find another guard in the state of New York, then we're probably gonna go with him. And if you know anything about junior college, players in state, or, you know, just people in general in state, they get a lower tuition, you know, to pay for junior college is super low. You know, instead of coming from an out of state, you have to pay, you know, higher. And even though they get scholarships, it's still, they was feeling like we can give that money to the big man that we want that's coming from overseas, and we would save a lot of money. So I was kind of battling with that. And like I said, about a few weeks, maybe a month later, a junior college coach from California ended up calling me. And I spoke with him, and he was saying like, hey, I saw your film, and you know, we want you to come up here. We don't offer scholarships in California, but you know, you'll be able to get a work study job and things like that, so you can, you know, pay for your rent and all that stuff. And I remember after I got off the phone, I was just like, how did he, you know, how did I get in contact with, or how did he get in contact with me? How did he find me from all the way in California? I was in North Carolina, and I was just so surprised. I was so shocked. I went and told my parents, like, you know, I might have a place to go. He ended up speaking with my parents, told them the rundown, gave them everything, and I had a decision to make. It was either go to the JUCO in New York or go to the JUCO in California. Remember, I told you the JUCO in New York was still looking for another guard, you know, in-state guard, to get. So they wasn't really that wasn't really like, oh, I can just say, oh, I want to go here, and they was gonna take me. It was kind of up in the air. But easy decision for me. I ended up deciding, you know, to go to the junior college in California, and you know, so I went out there, playing good, you know, practicing. Season got ready to start. We played a tournament, a first tournament. You know, it was 3 games. We ended up playing the championship game. We lost the championship. We lost the championship game. And then it was another tournament coming up. We ended up winning two of the games, getting back in the championship game at another tournament. And, you know, I was just starting to, you know, pick up my groove. Like, I was starting to get adjusted to the college game, the physicality, all of that stuff. And the first 3 games, I kind of struggled. You know, I didn't play bad, but I didn't play as good as I should. I was, you know, kind of in between. And like the last 2 games that we had played, I had played way better. Like, it was you know, if you watch that film and watch the film of the last 2 games, it was like you know, head and shoulders above, you know, how I was playing before. And the 3rd game, the championship game, we was down like, you know, 1 or 2 points. It's the second half. It's like 40 seconds left. I ended up stepping on the guy's foot, trying to steal the ball, and I blew my knee out. So you know, after the game, my knee all swole up, and, you know, they can't tell if it's an ACL tear or what it is exactly. I ended up getting back to the school, and we had to drive like 5 or 6 hours to get back to, you know, where our junior college was at. And when I say that was the worst, most uncomfortable trip I had ever been in, like I had to keep my leg propped up, like it was just terrible. But I ended up getting back to the school the next day. I got an MRI, scheduled an MRI, got an MRI, and came back. They couldn't tell if it was ACL or meniscus through the MRI. So basically, once I was gonna get surgery, they was gonna, you know, decide whether I needed a ACL repair or just a meniscus repair. And luckily, I ended up getting a surgery, and I only needed a meniscus repair. They didn't touch my ACL at all. And you know, I redshirted the rest of that year. You know, got the surgery, and you know, I was probably back playing and working out and stuff like that, probably like in 3 months for real. But season was almost over anyway. So I just, you know, set out the rest of that year, worked out, rehab, did all those things. And right after that, the next year, you know, going into the next season, I was back healthy. That next season, I played the full year. I played I played real good. We won the conference. I ended up winning Player of the Year, and everything was looking up. I had some Division I schools calling me. You know, I remember a week after the season, it probably wasn't even a week, probably like 3 or 4 days after the season, I had my coach got a call from a Division I school in like Tennessee, and you know, we spoke about the recruiting process and everything like that. He like, if they're reaching out already, you know, it's only gonna be more to come. So, you know, I'm happy about it and everything. And you know, after the season, you still had your workouts, you know, weights and all of those things, open gyms, everything like that. You know, they bring new guys in, you know, that they thinking about recruiting or wanting on the team. And at one of the open gym sessions, after we worked out, you know, did our lifting and everything, we had an open gym session. They brought a kid up, and we was playing 5-on-5 in the open gym session. And one of the last games, probably like 1 or 2 games left, I ended up going up for a layup, and you know, one of the guys was under me, and I ended up coming down wrong on my leg. Boom, blew my knee out again. Throughout that process, you know, I had to do another MRI, and long story short, once I got the MRI back, I met with the trainer, met with, you know, the coach, the junior college head coach, and he told me it was a ACL. So again, devastated, just coming off a great year, looking to do my second year there, and you know, I'm taking care of my business in class and everything, and just to hear that news, I was devastated once again. I was put back in the mode where it's like, I just got over this, everything is on the up and up, and you know, another setback. So the coach told me like, hey, I know you upset right now, but we're gonna have to talk about, you know, your plans, you know, for next year, you know, and if you're gonna be back or you gonna go home. And maybe like 2 or 3 days, 4 days later, I went back in his office, and we had that conversation. And you know, he's basically telling me like, you know, I don't know if you're gonna be the same player. Maybe you will be, maybe you won't. Maybe you will come back and start. Maybe you will be a 6-man. Maybe you won't play. You know, you're like, I don't know. And you know, to be honest, he was telling me something that was, you know, truth. You know, it was a bold truth. But at the time, I just felt like it was kind of, you know, it kind of hurt to hear that from somebody that I, you know, really looked up to, and we was kind of growing a good relationship. It kind of hurt to hear him say those things, even though it was the truth. It was just like, man, I'm like 3-4 days from hearing this bad news, and it's like already you know, telling me something like this. But he basically told me like, I think you should go home and rehab in Detroit for a year. And I was like, kind of devastated about that again, because, you know, I couldn't live out there without the work study job and things like that. And he was basically saying like, I wouldn't have a work study job